So the verses are interesting on several levels. The first is that they're divided into 5 sets of 6-beat phrases, the last line being truncated. First line is 2 bars of 3/4 waltz time, followed by 2 bars of 4+2 straight time. So the change from 3s to 4s, or shall we say triplet to duplet meter, is marked by 2 staccato beats on the 1 and 2. It's kind of a rhythmic motif that exactly matches the melody. It's so satisfying. The change from the lilt of the waltzy vibe into the sudden tension and release of those 2 first notes into the straight time is just one of those $1 million arrangement flourishes. It adds energy and pizzazz without being bombastic. It creates space. Space is not something Rush was known for in this era. In fact, throughout the stanzas, the band sits out quite a bit relative to what Rush usually does. Big progress that they're letting the melody stand first and foremost. It's just great dynamics. Interesting to note that most of the chords here are power chords, which are a staple of the ascendant punk and metal scenes in 1981, but until this point in their career, Rush had really rarely ever used them. They had been very into the minor and major triads at first, and then throughout the 70s, as the prog influence took over, they got more ambiguous voicings like the big Genesis chords and susses, and suddenly there's now power chords in the toolkit. The verse melody is based around the 3rds and 5ths of the chords, which gives it a wistful, less emphatic energy, thoughtful. The first chord is a B5, and Geddy's singing the 3rd, so between the vocals, guitar, and bass, we have a full B major chord. Geddy then goes up a half step to the E right as Alex meets him there by hitting the high E string. The notes coming together is just a beautiful way of underscoring the melody. Second chord is very often notated as a G-sharp 5, but it's actually a G-sharp sus 4/7 here.
And then that's the second chord.
But he's only playing the low 3 strings, so it's actually a 1/5 power chord with a 7 on top. It's subtle. It's not that clear on the studio recording, but it is very clear in some of the live recordings. And then the final part of the riff is the F-sharp to E when it gets to the straight time. We've done 2 bars of 3/4, 2 bars of 6/4, and now we're back to 2 bars of 3/4. Aha, the waltz again. We must be starting another stanza. And then it just ends abruptly on a bar of 4/4. Just aborts the whole pattern just when you've gotten used to it. And in comes the riff. And interestingly here, the riff doesn't begin on 1. It begins on the end of 4, the exact moment of the final line of lyric of the stanza. This is clearly done to emphasize the lyrics again. So we have a variation on the riff, variation number 2. Lifeson is now doubling the bass. He's arpeggiating. And then the second bar of the riff, it comes in on 1, but he's still arpeggiating. So that's actually a 3rd variation. It's very elegant and effective. Verse 2 is musically identical to verse 1, but it ends with a single rep of the riff, which includes a variation of the walk-up, giving us our 4th version. He adds this variation whenever the riff is before a chorus.
And then you slide back up to